Now, this next call is from Waco, Texas, my hometown, and this is Chaz. Now, is this a Chaz that I know from Waco, Texas, or is this a different Chaz that I've never met before?
Yeah, hey guys, thanks for having me on the show. Dan, I don't think we have ever met.
Okay, you scared me for a little bit there, Chaz, because I know a Chaz who I used to go to youth group with and recently got married. And I was like, oh my God, is this the Chaz I know? Did he find out about my show? He like goes to Baylor and everything.
No.
Real crazy.
No, sorry, man. I've never gone to church in Waco.
Yeah, that's good for you. I'll say that much. But anyway, go. What's up, Chaz? What's on your mind?
Yeah, well, I was calling about actually real quick. Zod, I had a question for you. The origin of your name, I'm a big Superman fan. Is that the same Zod, or is that totally unrelated?
Yeah, it is the same one. The name honestly means nothing at all. I was just trying to come up with a name for my channel, and that the series of other things just rolled out there and it stuck. I just thought it sounded fun. So that's as much meaning as there is to my name.
Okay, cool. Well, no, so what I was calling about was social media and really the role that it's kind of playing in our society. You know, a few weeks ago, I think Twitter, they kind of came out and I don't know if you would call them censorship necessarily, but they started issuing corrections on, you know, presidential tweets. And, you know, there was a big hoopla in the news there for a minute. And a lot of people, there's kind of been a debate about, you know, what the role of social media and censorship and free speech should be. And there's this notion now of whether social media should be like a public utility or if it should remain, you know, purview of private business.
This is a great topic. I want to stop you right there because this is like I've thought about this and I don't have a good answer. I really don't. I think that yes, there is merit to the argument that it should be a utility, but we have so many different kinds of social media now, and I wouldn't want all of it to go to the state. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't want there to be some sort of free access there. Now I'm in favor of more regulation. Like I like that Facebook is at least putting more warnings on their content and stuff like that, because putting a warning on a content isn't affecting, like people can still access that information, right? They're not like completely blocked. They're just putting some things in there. And I'm okay with that. If Truth Wanted was on Facebook and we had like warnings, yeah, that wouldn't be great, but I wouldn't think that's a violation of my free speech because you can still watch the video. So like, I'm super okay with that. And if there were laws created to do that, I think that would solve a lot of the problems. But I don't know if making it a public utility would completely solve what you or I would want for it either. Yeah, it's bad. Maybe like a LinkedIn thing as a public utility, that would make more sense to me. But what we use for our social media is so vast in its like uses, you know, like it's so broad that I don't think that there's a way that you could, you know, make it viable for the state. But I don't know, Zod, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's good that they post fact checking links and stuff like that. And I don't consider that a censorship issue. This is a company who is allowing you a platform and simply providing information to what looks like a urban legend or a poorly fact-checked story or just basically a lie. I think that's a good thing. I don't really think the government should be involved in it, just because, not really based on any libertarian principle, but because I don't trust the government to get involved in that. And if the government has one well-intentioned way to kind of try to fact check within these things, without getting too specific, you could end up with certain politicians or parties trying to weaponize that. And there are certain calls to what they call fake news that I think could be, you could turn the whole, politicians could turn the whole process on its head. One of my bigger concerns is I see this being an issue that runs deeper than anybody's ability to regulate, which is, this is a broader social issue of how of how way too many people understand and digest information.
Mm.
And so I don't think you're going to fix that with a regulation. You're just going to get people angry and get them feeling censored. And until we educate the public in how to understand sources and how to understand what truth actually looks like, I think this is a way bigger problem that goes beyond social media and regulation.
Hey, Zod, you're a content creator. How, like, and you've experienced this, you know, other content creators like I do. How many times do we hear from our content creator friends, oh, my video got content ID'd, or it got demonetized, or it got something because of some automatic system, you know, like a perfectly legit, or it got blocked in some country because it said something, you know, like we're already having that problem as it is. Yeah. And we would call ourselves the good guys. You know what I mean? It's like,
there aren't enough people to regulate it. Even within YouTube, there's not enough people to regulate it. So it gets put at the mercy of AIs who don't know how to recognize offensive content or inoffensive content when they see it. And I get things flagged for reasons that they can't even give me a reason. And there's like no plausibly offensive thing in my video at all. For some others, yes, there are, but for some there aren't. And it gets automatically flagged. And until I can finally get a person to actually look at it, every single time almost it gets monetized again. But it's too big of a problem to regulate. And
I agree. I'd like to get evil private interest stuff off of Facebook as much as anybody. You know, I don't want people preying on others for that kind of stuff. But like, I don't think making it a public utility is the best solution. I think just making at least those warning systems, like that's the best thing I can think of so far without outright removing stuff. Now I'm glad some stuff gets removed, like InfoWars and stuff. Like I'm personally okay with that, but that's also like, you know, how do you defend that? Like where, if they break their rules and their violations and stuff, sure. But you know, there's always like these controversies about how the rules are defined and how things, like, again, even content creators we know get stuck with these, you know, systems, and it's all a mess. It's all a mess, Chaz. The internet was a mistake. I think that's what we've come to.
There's no silver bullet to fix the idiocracy, basically. No. And it's all a symptom of how people think and how they digest information. And we can't fix that just by addressing the symptoms. Social media is just a platform. And absolutely. That's just where people go, and they're going to go somewhere else with all the same dumb ideas if we try to regulate it.
Yeah. Well, Chaz, I know you definitely have more to say, but I do have a lot of calls that I want to get to, and I told everybody I was going to speed things up. So I'm so sorry to let you go now. But man, I do appreciate you calling in. Guys. Absolutely. Thanks so much. And thanks for asking us our take on that, because that's a good thing to think about. When you tell people that, their concerns isn't the same as our concerns. Their concerns is like, I don't want the government getting in my business, you know, like that kind of stuff. It's like
government's supposed to get in other people's business, not mine.
Right. I mean, and in this case, there's merit to it, but that's always whenever you say something about regulation or something about, you know, that's people are wild. And maybe my anarchist callers would probably disagree with me there too. I have quite a few, but let's try to get to these calls.